My God is awesome. He can move mountains, keep me in the valley, hide me from the rain.
Good morning. There's nothing like the pastor saying when you speak in church to increase your prayer life tremendously. So I'm a little bit nervous if it shows, just because I don't speak in front of people too often. So I was watching YouTube trying to find out the best way to speak in front of people, and none of it helped. I'm kind of new here, so most people don't really know me. I want to give a little background on my life real quick. I'm 56. I was born in Columbus. I got saved in Awana when I was 12. This was many years back. And I remember the first Bible verse I memorized was right after I got saved. It was Titus 2:11. For the grace of God has appeared, bringing salvation to all men, teaching us to deny ungodliness and worldly desires, and to live sensibly, righteously, and godly in this present age. And that verse has stuck with me forever. And so, real quick, a snapshot on my life. I got saved when I was 12, got involved in the Clinton Baptist Church, really enjoyed when missionaries would come to speak. I thought, man, it'd be really cool someday to go overseas and be one of the guys that gets to do those fun things, so I thought. And that's been on the back of my mind forever. And then got involved with another church with my sister, that's Howe, if you don't know. And it was a very evangelical church. We were based on campus. We'd go out Tuesday nights witnessing, Wednesday night we'd have Bible studies, Friday night we'd have prayer meetings, Sunday we'd have church. I mean, I was really involved in church for probably 20 years. That's where I met Denise, is through that church. Denise is my wife. We had 9 kids, Zane, Zach, Alexa, Aubrey, Zeb, Zeke, Zion, Amy, Maddie. And most of them are with us now. The big kids have all grown up and started their lives. So we were involved in church and raising kids, and things were going really good. And as time goes on, as you have a big family, you get more involved with work. And work became more of my life, and church became a little bit less. And about 10 years ago, I started this little decline. Well, it's actually ended up being a pretty big decline. And it's really far from the Lord. That's a whole different story. But by God's grace, He saved me out of some really bad stuff. And gave me some time. If God gave me some time. Yeah, that's right. God took me out of everything I was doing and said, all right, you're going to take some time and get back on me. And this verse in Colossians 1:13, it says, for He delivered us from the dominion of darkness and transferred us into the kingdom of His beloved Son. That's what God did in my life. I mean, I was really what you would consider a good Christian. And then I wasn't. And God said, that's enough. Time to get back. And He brought me back to Him. This is like last year. Some of you guys know I was gone for a while. That's what the Lord was doing, was getting me back to Him. So during that time, He gave me a bunch of promises, but there's this really neat promise in Isaiah 51. No, that's not it. 55. $53. 58. I think 58. I'm going to read it real quick. It says, if you give 58 verse 10, if you give yourself to the hungry and satisfy the desire of the afflicted, then your night will rise in darkness and your gloom will become like midday. And if you read 11, 12, and 13, this passage right here is so cool, because God says, if you do this, if you give yourself to the hungry and satisfy the desire of the afflicted, He gives 11 promises that He's going to do if you do those 2 things. So read through it. It's a really great promise. So over the last year, since I've been back in Caldwell with my wife and kids, I've been asking the Lord, what's next? Because I don't want to go back to my old career. I want to do something that's going to help for You. And so I'm praying all the time, Lord, what's next? What's next? And God's saying, well, just wait, just wait. Next. You know, the Lord does that a lot, and it's kind of hard sometimes to just wait. So anyway, a couple weeks ago, I'm over at the house, and Helena comes in, and she says, hey, I want to tell you guys something neat. And when your niece is 25 and she comes in and says, hey, I want to tell you something neat, your mind automatically goes someplace. But she said she's going to go on this missions trip to Greece to help these refugees in Syria that are going through this island. And I haven't been up to the news for a while, so I'm like, no, don't know what that is. But in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, that would be really cool to do that. So we go home, and my wife comes up and she says, hey, Zane, when do you want to do something like that? I'm like, yeah, that'd be really cool. And so I talked to my sister and my brother-in-law, Darwin, and I said, you know, I wonder if there's any way I could do something like that. She said, well, let's all pray about it. So we prayed about it. The next day, Helena talked to the people, coordinated the group, and they said, yeah, that'd be great if you could come. So that was one thing. And anyway, all the trip's still in place, and it's like the Lord said, yes, go on this little trip. So I had to go get my passport. That worked out. And then there's this other big obstacle called money. And I'm like, Lord, I don't have the money to go on this trip. And the next day, the Lord provided the money for me to go on the trip, which was like, wow, that's really cool. So then it's like, everything's on place. I get to go on this trip. Helena's going to tell you more about what it is. And I start getting back on the internet, looking, okay, what is going on over there in this island of Lesbos? And basically, all these Syrian refugees are leaving Syria and Iraq and Afghanistan because those terrorist groups are going to villages and slaughtering people. And so all these refugees are trying to get to Europe for a better life. So I'm reading up on this, and about the same time the Paris bombing takes place, and then these guys investigate the Paris bombing and find out that these guys from the terrorists, one of them went through this island of Lesbos as a Syrian refugee. So now, I'm really excited about going, but I'm kind of afraid because I'm thinking, am I just going to go over there and help all these terrorists come over to different countries and set up places to, do bad things? And that's when the Lord gave me this verse in Isaiah, chapter 60, which I'm pretty sure it's there. I try and quote it, but I butcher it, so. Okay, it says, arise, shine, for your light has come, and the glory of the Lord has risen upon you. For behold, darkness will cover the earth, and deep darkness the peoples. But the Lord will arise upon you, and his glory will appear upon you, and nations will come to your light, and kings to the brightness of your rising. In 2010, there was one missionary, Christian worker, for every 475 people in the evangelized world. At the same time, there is one missionary for every 65,000 people in the unevangelized world. It's like, the verse in Matthew 28 says, go therefore and make disciples of all the nations. We're not doing that. And so I had this picture in my mind, God's up in heaven. Okay, what are we going to do about this? And so Jesus or the Holy Spirit said to the Father, well, if they won't go to the people, let's bring people to them. And so God says, great idea. And so now we have all these immigrants that are coming over to our countries by the thousands. And if we can get involved with these people and share the gospel with them and share our love with them, they can go back to their countries. They know the language, they know the culture, they know their friends, and they can be the ones who are reaching their countries. So I think it's really cool that I get to be part of what God may be doing. It's a great work in our times. All these people, some bad people included, are going to be right in our faces. And we get to reach out as a church and grab them and say, here's the love of Christ. And then the whole world hopefully gets to hear the gospel. So, we're leaving a couple weeks. I have a couple prayer requests for you. First of all is that we would be able to show the love of Christ to these people. There's thousands of them that want to be seen. But specifically, if you guys would pray for me, Helena, I would really, really like to be able to share the gospel with somebody and see someone saved while they're there. I don't know how it's going to work out, but that, I think, would be the cap to what we're doing. So, thank you very much.
Does he have, like, let's see what's going on underneath.
The majority of refugees that arrive in Greece or arrive in Europe arrive here on this island. So these beaches are where, sometimes 60 to 70 boats will land here per day. Most of them have fled countries of conflict. They left all their belongings. Some of them have left even family members behind. They just flee for their own safety, and they flee for the hope of a better life. I mean, I can't even imagine leaving everything I know and coming to a place on a little raft, and you have no idea whether you're going to be welcomed, or you're going to be thrown in prison, or you're going to be, you just have no idea what to expect.
A lot of the moms are very visibly afraid, and to be handed someone else's child that's really humbling, to like be responsible to care for them even for that brief moment.
Let's go, this nice lady. Just go. Take care of her, please.
It was hard to see children coming off soaking wet. Yesterday we saw a boat come in with a baby who is just 1 month old on it. And I just can't imagine a mom who gets on a boat like that, that's so unsafe, with their 1 month old infant, and how afraid she must have been that something would happen. And actually, I was just fearful that they're not going to make it because they're going to die of hypothermia before they get anywhere safe. So I think it just epitomizes the desperation that we see in this situation that we find ourselves in.
They know about the border crossings. They know about what's happening in Hungary, about getting tear gassed and about getting stopped at a border. They know about boats crashing out here. Just yesterday, a boat was lost out at sea and people died. You know, almost every day one of these boats doesn't make it to shore.
You can tell they're traumatized by what has already been such a long journey that they've been through, and what will be a really long journey still.
I think when they land, they're just so glad to be on dry land and safe that the reality of what lies ahead isn't really registering. So I don't think they realize that they now have several weeks' journey trying to get through Europe to their destination, and that journey is not going to be easy.
This is Karatepe. It's one of the refugee transit points that the refugees wait before moving on with their journey.
She's 4 months pregnant, is that right? 4 months?
Yes.
Yeah.
And why is she afraid she might be losing the baby?
I'm just cleaning the wound. He's trodden on a nail. It's gone quite deep. The most important thing is that he goes to a pharmacy now and gets a tetanus vaccination.
She's just sprained her ankle, probably by walking or maybe when she got out of the boat.
Has she felt the baby kick yet? A flutter? Then the baby's okay.
We are the first faces that they see when they land. Probably a lot of them have never even met a Christian. When they land on this beach, we're happy that we can be here and be here as part of that first step, and be here to Just show them that there's Christian people that love them. As they continue their journey along the way, they'll meet other people from Samaritan's Purse and other countries, and they'll remember us. I've never done anything like this. This is extremely special
what we're doing here. I sat in my room and I watched that video someone shared on Facebook, and I don't normally watch videos shared on Facebook, but I love Samaritan's Purse, so I was watching that, and after that 5 minutes and 59 seconds that you just watched, I did what most of you are doing. I cried, and I just put my forehead in my hand and I said, God, why isn't someone doing something about this? Why are there people dying? Why are there children that are dying of hypothermia because they get drenched in the water? Why are they on these little boats to begin with? And as I prayed about it, I said, God, it was a 2-second prayer that I prayed about and completely forgot. I said, if you want me to go, I'll go. Just have someone ask me, which was a very safe prayer because I did not know anyone over there. And when you watch something like that on Facebook, it's very, very far away. Like, that's on the other side of the world, and it's very detached from where we are. And so as I saw that, and my heart was just moved, it was broken. To see the children crying, and the terrified looks of the men, and the absolutely traumatized looks of the women as they're handing their children off to be wrapped in these foil blankets because their children have hypothermia and are dying. I said, why isn't someone doing something? What can I do? And then I forgot about it. Because that's how usually life goes when you're seeing something, you see something in the news. It was one of those things that had been in the news so much that I kind of got tired of it. Seeing it on Facebook feeds is like, oh, whatever. Well, about a month passed, and I got back from yet another one of my trips out of state, which my Sunday school group will tell you I've been gone a lot this year, which I'm sorry, guys. And I was happy because I was going to be home for 6 weeks and be actually able to get back into some things and not have any trips planned. That was a Wednesday afternoon I got home. And Thursday morning, about 7 o'clock in the morning, I got a text from a friend in Pennsylvania. And he's been a friend for a very long time. He said, hey, my family's going to Greece next week to help with the refugee crisis. I'm taking a team in December. Will you go? And I was like, God. You know, when I prayed that prayer, I was kind of just kidding. But I knew immediately that I was supposed to go. But then I was like, I don't know how this is going to work with work and my family and church and everything. And it just didn't seem practical or something like I could really do. And then, so I just prayed about it all day. I said, God, show me, clarify, if you want me to go. And the next morning, I opened my Bible to where I'd been reading in a regular Bible passage, and it was 1 Thessalonians 4 is where I started. At 4:10, it says, now concerning brotherly love, no one needs to tell you this because you yourself have been taught by God. And I was like, okay. It says, love one another, for indeed that's what you have been doing, but continue to do so more and more. To are the brothers in Macedonia. And we urge you, brothers, do this more and more. Macedonia is Greece. I'm like, I can in God. I'll go. So I went and started talking to my parents and my bosses and getting everything worked out. And so, like Zane said, we'll be going. And December 5th, we leave here. On December 6th, we fly out of Washington, D.C. And we will be on that island. I will be right there where you saw that video. I'll be right in that exact area on the island of Lesbos, helping out as people come in. And I just looked up a couple statistics. As Zane said, when you get into something, you start seeing it everywhere. It's a small island. And in October alone, 125,000 refugees landed on that island. 125,000 people. That's the men, the women, the children, the grandmas and grandpas. I have friends that are there right now, and they said that a lady came in who is elderly and cannot walk. And she's had people carry her for the last 6 weeks to get there. And she needs a wheelchair, and she doesn't have one. There's no way that a wheelchair can make the journey. There's a family, my friend told me about a father that they helped, and he had a 6-year-old son and an 8-year-old daughter with him. And he left Kurdistan earlier this year after 2 of his daughters were killed by ISIS. And in Turkey, his wife and 2 of his other children are still on the other side because they didn't have the money for the passage. And as my friend was talking to this man, she said the 6-year-old son was crying nonstop because he wanted his mommy on the other side in Turkey. These are the kind of people that we're loving on. Yes, who knows what they might be doing, what their intentions are, but these are real people.
That's right.
And as I looked at the numbers, I was completely overwhelmed. When you look at 125,000, that number is huge. And as a person, there's nothing I can do to help 125,000 people. I can't do it. None of us can do it. And as they told us, they sent us a message and they said, hey, we need socks, we need hats, we need men's shoes and socks and pants. And I started telling people, hey guys, we need some socks and shoes and stuff. And then I just had a moment of overwhelmness and despair that I'm trying to take 2 suitcases of luggage to help 125,000 people. This is ridiculous. I just don't even need to do it. What is 1 suitcase going to do for these people? And then I had a realization as I got in a cold car this morning and was driving early in the morning, and I forgot to warm it up, and my ears were cold and my fingers were cold and I was cold, and all I could think about was the fact that I was cold and it really mattered to me, and it hit me. I'm just one person, and when I'm cold it matters to me. These are not 125,000 people that we're going to help. We're going to help 1 person. We're going to take 1 hat to help 1 head be warm. We're going to take 1 pair of socks to help 1 pair of feet be warm. We're not going to solve a crisis. We're just going to love, and we're just going to love that 1 person, because 1 matters to God, 1 matters to me. And so that's what we're going to do. So as we go, like Zane said, our trips are paid for. I'm not here to ask for your money. What I am here to do is ask for your prayers. And Paul said in Philippians, he said, now I seek a gift, not for the gift's sake, but for the fruit that the gift will bring in your life. So when I ask for your prayers, I ask for your prayers not just for me, but also for you, because I know as you pray, this is going to do something in your heart too. And if you have socks, I know some of you guys have been getting socks and hats. If you have them and you want to give them, that's awesome. Thank you. Would love that. But just remember that you as my family, because every one of you guys is my family, my church family, you guys are a part of this too. So thank you for praying for us as we go, for praying for safety, for, like Zane said, that we would be able to be the love of Jesus to these people. And as we do that in your name and in the name of Christ, in the name of this family, you guys have a part in that too. So thank you for supporting us in this, and thank you for praying for us as we go.